In today's video, we will look at the top 10 states to retire in 2024. With prices rising and inflation getting worse, many people getting close to retirement are wondering if they should pick up and move to a better state for retirement. Maybe you are already retired and you are looking at your current state and wondering if you should stick around. In today's video, we will cover the top 10 best states to retire in 2024. Now, there are many factors making the state best for retirees. Some of those are affordability, quality of life, healthcare, and the percentage of population that is 65 plus. I understand many people don't retire at 65 anymore. However, this gives a good indication of people retirement age. The wisdom says that if a state has a large percentage of senior population, then they would be better equipped or should have a better plan to make the life of seniors better, or so we hope. They are the people who built America into the great country it is now. So sit back and relax and watch this video to see where you should be living or moving to. Number 10, Pennsylvania. Now, this state is the 10th best healthcare in the country, which for most retirees is one of the most important categories. The thought is, as we age, we will require more healthcare. The cost of living is 28th out of 50, and housing affordability is 27th, which both are a little worse than average, but definitely manageable. Now, this wasn't included in the ranking system. However, I do think crime is important to retirees, as nobody wants to spend their senior years worried about being the victim of a crime. So I'm going to let you know what the crime ranking is, even though it doesn't contribute to retirement ranking. In this case, Pennsylvania scores 18th out of 50 states in crime, which is better than average. The percentage of population 65 plus is 19.1%, which is the 9th highest in America. Number 9, Montana. Montana is the state where smart people who lived in California moved. Montana is a pretty open state with a lot of space and is the 9th lowest population in America. I mentioned this because there are many times states like this score lower in healthcare because of the resources or the distance to travel to see certain specialists. In this case, Montana has the 35th ranking out of 50 in healthcare. It scores better at cost of living at 15th best state. And the housing affordability is better than average at 22nd in the country. Now remember, crime doesn't influence rankings for retirement, but Montana is 37th out of 50th in crime. I have to admit, this kind of surprised me, as when you think of crime, you think of New York or California, not Montana. Montana has the 6th highest percentage of people 65 plus, at 19.7% of the population. Number 8, Minnesota. Now, I must admit, it's a little worse than average in cost of living at 32nd out of 50th, and housing affordability is a little better at 28th. That being said, Minnesota is ranked 5th best state overall for quality of life score. So I guess you get what you pay for here. The healthcare in Minnesota is ranked 15th best state in the country. It also has got the largest mall in America. So if you need a place to walk around and get your exercise, the Mall of America has you covered. Literally. Crime, which I believe is an important factor for retirees, is 24th best state. That's a fraction better than average. Minnesota is home to the 32nd largest population of people 65 plus, with 16.8% of its residents falling into that bracket. Again, less than the first two, but still a great place to live. Number 7, New Hampshire. Another standard of living darling, which is ranked 6th best state overall in standard of living, ranks 17th out of 50th in healthcare. So that's good. Now, if you watch my other videos, you know that New Hampshire is not winning anybody with affordability. They rank 36th ranking in housing and affordability, and their cost of living is even worse at 39th. It might be a little expensive, however, it makes up for it in safety, where the state is the second best in the country in crime. There is also a number of other great rankings making the list, even with its high costs. New Hampshire has the 8th highest percentage of people 65 plus, with 19.3% of the population falling into that age group. Number 6, Idaho. Not only did Idaho make our list as the 5th best state to live in 2024, it's also the 6th best state to retire. On some lists, Idaho ranks the 3rd best state in America for standard of living rankings, so you know they got a lot of great things going for it, besides what we are covering in this video. Idaho is home to the 14th best health care out of 50th, so pretty much good enough to cover any of your health care needs as a retiree. The cost of living is ranked 17th best, and their housing affordability is as average as you can get, 25th out of 50. Crime is the 5th best in the country. These are great scores, and apparently not a lot of retirees know about this place, as they are ranked 34th in percentage of people 65 plus, which they have 16.7%. This might change after this video. Number 5, Wyoming. Now, if you watch my other videos, you know how much I love Wyoming, and if it wasn't for the wind, it's where JB the alien and his beautiful wife would move to retire. Now remember, when talking about Montana and healthcare, I mentioned open space, distance between towns, and a small population usually results in poor healthcare rankings. These factors have Wyoming sitting 42nd in the country in healthcare. Not exactly great as you age. However, regardless of what my mother-in-law says, I currently live in Kentucky, which is ranked 46th. So for me, this would be an upgrade. She seems to want to argue Kentucky has great health care. Where Wyoming does much better is cost of living, which is 14th out of 50th, and housing affordability is 21st. I might add that Wyoming has the best ranking or the lowest taxes in America. So if you have any sort of income in retirement, you won't find a better tax state. Maybe that's why I love it so much. Now again, this isn't a factor in the ranking, but Wyoming has the 10th best ranking in crime. Wyoming has the highest amount of gun ownership per capita in America. Chances are if you run into someone who is an adult in Wyoming, they are armed. Not to mention, there are a lot of cowboys. I guess people figured out quickly, cowboys with guns don't make good victims of criminals. Fool around and find out. The cowboy state has 17.8% of the population who are 65 plus. However, they have the lowest population of any state. In fact, the District of Columbia, aka Washington, D.C., has more people than Wyoming. Number 4, Delaware. Another popular state on the lists. Delaware is 16th ranked in the country for health care. It's ranked 28th in crime, which is a little worse than average and is manageable, especially if you walk around like a cowboy or cowgirl for Wyoming. The affordability is worse than average, with cost of living 31st and housing affordability 42nd, both out of 50. Now, Delaware has a few other good rankings, but not things we are covering today. Delaware has the 5th highest percentage of population 65 plus, sitting at an even 20%. Number 3, Virginia. Virginia scores better than average in just about every ranking, not just what we are covering today. This is why it makes the list and scores so high. It doesn't get there on cost of living, 38, or housing affordability, 40th out of 50. Now, this might be caused because a lot of people living in Virginia work in Washington, D.C., and work for the government, and they have high incomes. Not that that applies to retirees, though. Healthcare is 19th best in the country, and crime is 8th best, both out of 50. Overall, Virginia is the 13th best state across all categories for standard of living. So it is a great place to live, if you can afford it. Virginia has the 41st most people 65 plus at 16.3%. However, it makes sense as many residents move to the area to work for the government, and when they retire, some of those people move back to their home state. Number 2, Colorado. I personally wish Colorado was run better and had better policies, as it's a beautiful state. It does get some great scores across the board. However, it's slowly descending into California light, and it's too expensive to justify living with homeless camps and drugs everywhere. Crime is rising just as fast as prices, so you might want to do your own research before moving here. Colorado is ranked 13th out of 50th in healthcare, which is awesome. The crime is 44th, and this is rising, so watch this category in the future. This could change quickly if Colorado residents start holding their politicians accountable for poor policies. However, they haven't shown that time is now. Colorado has less people 65 plus than Virginia, ranked 46th out of 50, with only 15.1% falling into that age bracket. Number 1, South Dakota. Just kidding. The best state to retire is Florida, and that should come as no surprise, as people have been retiring there for decades. It might be surprising, but Florida scores a little worse than average in healthcare at 27th. I thought somehow it would score higher because it does have a lot of great hospitals. The best rank the state holds is the best in the country in education, which probably doesn't apply to most retirees. Public safety is better than average at 22nd out of 50th. Some places are safer than others, but law enforcement doesn't play around in many counties in the state. Because of the weather and sunshine, Florida isn't cheap to live if you are retiring on a budget. The cost of living is 36th, and the housing affordability is 41st, both out of 50. I do know prices have been rising and are getting a little out of hand there. Florida is the second highest percentage of people 65 plus in the country, sitting at 21.3%. So Florida is a great place to retire if you have more money than the majority of people. If you don't, or you can't afford most of these states and you need to find the cheapest state to live, check out this video.